Hi, it's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. So today, low sugar strawberry jam. Okay, so first off, I am getting together 4 cups of sugar. And I'm going to put this in one big bowl. That way it's easy for me to dump it right into the recipe when I need to. One, 2, 3, and 4. Whoop. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. So now what I need to do is take 1/4 of this sugar. Let me move some things out of my way here. I'm going to take 1/4 cup of the sugar that's in this bowl, and I'm going to put it in a separate bowl. 1/4 cup. Now what I'm going to do with that is I am going to take my pack of Sure-Gel, pour it in there, and mix it together. And this is going to go in a different time to the recipe than the other sugar. So that's why we separate the bowls. So pour that in there. And get rid of that. And stir that up. Just mix that in real good. Okay, so now we're going to set that aside. So now what we're going to do is we are going to crush our strawberries. Now, I had 2 flats of strawberries, and what I did was I cleaned them all up and cut the tops off and cut anything off that's bad. So this is quite a lot of strawberries. I'm not exactly sure. I should have counted how many I got, and I didn't do that. I should have done that. So now what I'm going to do is get a big bowl. I had to wash all my stuff because this is batch number 2. And you got to start over with all clean stuff, right? So, and I just finished canning the first batch of strawberry jam, but I cannot use that hot water because I have jars that are room temperature and I don't want to throw them into hot water. I risk them breaking. So now what I'm going to do is start dumping my strawberries in here. And a lot of times, depending on your strawberries, you can, oop, look at that. There's a little piece of green in there. Let me get that out of there. You can use a potato masher by hand if you want to. I'm going to use my handy dandy emergent blender. It is going to kind of splatter. I think the last time I made strawberry jam, I was able to use a hand masher, but we're going to do the blender this time. What you need for this recipe is 6 cups of crushed strawberries. So I'm going to slowly use my emergent blender and hopefully not make a huge mess. Going everywhere. And you do not have to have no chunks. If you want chunks in your jelly, then just don't crush it all the way. If you prefer no chunks, use your blender. Or what's that thing called? That food prep thing. I don't know. Words escape me a lot. trying not to be really messy, but I do foresee cleaning up a lot of strawberry splatter later. That's fine. Yeah, boy, they smell so good. Don't you love strawberry season? I do. So good. Okay, there's our first splattering. And I have a nice big measurer. So I'm just going to keep blending and pouring in here until I get 6 cups. And then I'll be back. We are at 6 cups of crushed strawberries. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, okay. So now, and actually I did have some left over, which is good. So now I'm going to get my jars ready while this sits for a minute. So here is my water bath canner. It is just a big pot. And inside is this little mesh piece of wire that I got from the dollar store and cut it to the shape of the bottom, because you can't let your jars touch the bottom. And if you're using this kind, it's totally fine. You don't have to buy a water bath canner. Okay, so now I'm going to fill my pot with my empty room temperature jars. Pot is cold, okay? And you want to check all your jars for cracks or chips. You want to inspect them. And of course they're clean jars, but they're also going to get sterilized in here as it all heats up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many did we need? 2, 4, 6, 8. So I need 1 more. So this recipe using 6 cups of strawberries made 8 half pints. So now I'm going to fill this up, fill the jars up with water, fill up the pot to just cover the jars. And then we're going to get that turned on the stove so it can start to heat up. So the water is up to here, which just covers the jars. And I'm going to get rid of this one that we already did a batch because that's too hot of a water. We don't want to use that. We want to start with fresh water. And I'm just going to turn this on medium so that can get going as we do our recipe for our strawberry jam. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take our 6 cups of strawberries and we're going to put that in our pot. I'm using quite a big pot. You can use a stainless steel pot. You can use an aluminum pot if you want to. I like to use this big pot, but before that I used an enamel pot. You can basically use whatever pot you want, you know, as long as it's big enough because it is going to bubble. So okay, so I put 1 tablespoon of butter in our pot. And what that does is it helps with the foaming that happens during the process of the cooking process. You don't have to put that butter in if you don't want to. You can leave it out. It just helps with some of the foaming. So now to that, we're going to add our little mixture of our low sugar pectin and our 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to add that in. Okay, and to that, you want to use a non-iodized salt. And you need 1/2 teaspoon. I'm using a pink Himalayan salt. What are some of the other ones? Kosher salt. Pink Himalayan. That's it. That's all I remember. Okay. So now we're going to stir this up. We're going to put this on medium. and stir this up real good. We're gonna let this cook. It's probably going to take a good 15 minutes or so on medium to start to get to a boil. And that's what we're going to do. We're just gonna let that slowly cook on medium, and we'll be back. Okay. While that's starting to heat up, wanna go over ingredients? Let's do that. So you need 6 cups of crushed strawberries. It's probably at least 3 pints of strawberries, of whole strawberries. I would imagine, give or take. Get 4 just in case, and then you can always eat strawberries. You need 4 cups of sugar, and you're going to put that in one bowl, but then you're going to take a 1/4 cup of that sugar and put it in a separate bowl. You need 1 pat of butter. You need 1/2 teaspoon of non-iodized salt, and you need 1 box of low sugar Sure-Gel pectin. That's it. And then of course you need your jars. You need what you're going to can, what you're going to water bath can in. What else do you need? You need fresh lids, but you can reuse the bands. You need handy dandy tongs. And you need a funnel and a big spoon that will handle the hot material. And that's it. So we are starting to get to a boil. So we're getting there. So now what we need is a hard boil. And what that is a boil that's really going good, that when you stir it, it continues to boil. So that's what we're looking for now, and we'll be back when that happens. Okay, we are at our boil. That is not stirring down. It keeps boiling as I stir. I can't make the bubbles go away, so that's what we want. So now, all at once, you are going to add the rest of your sugar, which is the 3 3/4 cups of sugar. And just keep stirring. You don't want your sugar to burn on you. And now what we need to do is wait for all this sugar to dissolve, and then it needs to come back up to a boil. And again, the rolling boil again. We are starting to boil. We're not at the rapid boil yet, but we're getting very close. So as soon as that happens and I can't boil it down like the last time before we added the sugar, the rest of the sugar, we set our timer for 1 minute, and you let that hard boil for 1 minute. Let's see if I can turn it down. I mean, if I can stir it down. No, I cannot stir it down. So we are going to set our timer for 1 minute, and we'll be back. Okay, there's our 1 minute. Now you turn off your burner. Jar it up. Let me bring you a little closer. So this is what we have. See this over here? That's the foam. It's not going to hurt anything. You can scoop it off if you want to, or leave it in. It's totally fine. So now we're going to start getting our jars out, and let's do that. So they're all nice and sterilized in there, and they're hot. Hot jam, hot jars. And see the way I'm pouring that out? That is the safest way so you don't get splattered or burnt with this water because it's hot. See that? It works really well. Now you need a cloth with some water on it, or you can use a little vinegar and get that ready, because as you fill your jars, you're going to clean your rims. Especially if you have something sticky like this, like jam. Vinegar just may work better because of all the sugar that's in there, right? So you don't, by mistake, leave any jelly on your rim, and then you won't get a seal. But it is okay if you don't get a seal, because then you get to enjoy some strawberry jam right away. All you have to do is put it in your fridge and use it. You can't put it on your shelf. All right, let's get ready to fill them up. I have my funnel, and I love using my big enamel spoon. And we are going to just start filling up our jars. I'm not going to worry about the foam. It's totally fine with me. And you want to, these are 1/2 pint jars, and you want to fill them up to 1/4 headspace. And you'll get used to that. And we just fill up all our jars. On my little funnel, there is a little line which lets me know about where the 1/4 inch headspace is, so that's nice. Wow, this is the second batch of strawberry jam today. I'm thrilled. A little bit more. Smells so good. You know, the first time I made jelly, it's so much fun. Now, once you make it, you can't stop, so be prepared. But, you know, as long as your family eats jelly, it's good. You're having fun making it. Your family is enjoying it. And you have a product on your shelf that you made, and it's so much healthier. You know what you put in there. You know how your strawberries were. It's a much healthier jelly for you and your family. So I love it. Well, that one's a little low, it might be. And of course, grandbabies love grandma's jelly, right? Yeah, that one's a little low. Wow. Yep, we're gonna get the exact same amount that I got with the last batch. And a smidgen left over. I'm going to add a smidgen to this one. Yep, look at that. There's barely anything left in the pot, which is perfect. And I'm going to scoop that in another one that I have in the fridge. Now, what I like to do is use my tongs to hold my jar while I clean it, because that's hot. And I am just using water. I'm just going to go around and get it all clean. Perfect. And you have to use a new lid, but you can reuse your bands. And you want to put that on finger tight. You don't want to twist, twist, twist and get it real tight. And, whoops, there's some jelly on the side. Let's get that. Not that that would matter, I don't think, but, okay, in it goes. And that's all we do. Oh, let me show you this one. See, that kind of looks like it's foam. Can you see that in there? That might be foam, or it could be pieces of strawberry, but it's totally fine. I don't mind it. New ring, new lid. Oh, but you can reuse your bands. And just inspect them, make sure they're okay. You don't want to use reuse a band that, of course, like got all rusty or something in the cleaning process. And I reuse my lids for other things. You know, things that I'm prepping or doing for the fridge. I use a used lid. I don't throw them away. I have tons of them. That is true. But you never know if you're going to need a lid and you don't have one. I'd rather have too many and not need it, right? Oh, this jelly is coming out amazing. I'm so happy with this. And I've never made the low sugar kind, which is really what we need to do at this point in our lives, is the low sugar. So I'm thrilled to be making this batch. Nice and clean. So now what's going to happen is, once these are all in there, I'm going to turn that up. And you have to make sure that your jars are covered with at least an inch of water over the top. And then once it comes to a hard boil, then we will set our timer. And jelly for this recipe needs to process for 10 minutes. Boy, that one I made a mess. I'm going to save that one for last. There's some on the outside. And this is my second batch, so my surface has lots of jelly on it. Very nice. Look at that, like that's almost setting up already. It's going to come out good. I'm thrilled. Last one, which I made a mess of. Looks like there's jelly everywhere on it. And I went all the way down the side with some. We'll get it. Okay, I think we're good. All right, last one. This is half pint number 8 going in. And they are covered. The water now is up to here. So they are covered with a little bit more than an inch, and that's fine. So I'm gonna turn up my canner and I'm gonna wait until that comes to a rolling boil. And it's that same kind of boil, that really fast boil. And as soon as that comes to a boil, then we'll set our timer for 10 minutes. We'll be back. We're almost done. Grab a spoon and see how we did. Can you see this? Does that show up? Look at that, it's already setting. Look at that. Oh, that is so good. This is a very good recipe. Oh, I'm very happy. This is excellent. Okay, there's our rapid boil. So now we are going to set our timer for 10 minutes. Our timer just went off. So I turn off the burner and you just let it sit, let it calm down for a few minutes before you pull your jars out. With our 2 batches, we got 16 half pints of strawberry jam. Low sugar. So what's going to happen is tomorrow, we're going to let these sit. See some of these, oh, did you hear that? See some of these lids, it popped down. See the difference between that one and that one? That one hasn't sealed yet. Here's goes another one that's sealed. Whoops, there we go. Now it just sealed. So now we have one more that hasn't sealed. Is it gonna go? Voila, it's gone. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let these sit until tomorrow. And tomorrow morning I'll come out and I'll twist off the lids and feel or twist off the bands and lift them up and feel it and make sure that it is sealed. And then it's gonna be marked with the date and strawberry jam, and it will be stored on the shelf without the band. The reason you don't leave the band on is if for some reason your seal breaks, you need to know that. So you don't want to stack them. You want them in single layers, and you put them on your shelf. And anytime you need strawberry jam or you need a gift for last minute, you've got some beautiful jam. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you make your own strawberry jam.